Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This is a game from round 9 of Tata Steel Masters Edition, and this is a game played between Liren and Anish Giri. And this game features a very nice ready opening which transposes into the Neo-Catalan defense. And without spoiling much, let's get on with this game. Ding starts with knight to f3, ready opening. Anish replies with b5, g3, knight to f6, and bishop g2 and e6. And Ding in this position just simply castles, and Anish goes for bishop e7, preparing castles, and Ding goes for c4, transposing into the Neo-Catalan defense, and Anish just simply castles in this position. Okay, b3, d4, taking some nice central squares, e3 challenging the central pawn, and going for c5, cementing that pawn on the central square, going for knight to e5, getting a hold of this nice diagonal. Anish goes for queen to c7, developing the queen with the tempo, and Ding defends with f4. Knight bd7, knight to d3, and as Ding's knight is not occupying the e5 square, Anish goes for a nice central thrust with e5. Ding goes for knight a3. Now the knight is definitely coming to b5, and Anish doesn't allow it. Anish goes for a6. Bishop b2, bishop d6, and there's a game in the database when knight to c2 was played, but Ding goes for g4 in this position, and I don't know how much of it is home preparation or how much of it is found over the board, but it's going to get very, very interesting from here onwards. But okay, Anish captures on f4, and instead of recapturing, Ding goes for g5. As this g5 is not actually a good move for Ding, and the way to take advantage of it is just sacrifice the knight on f6. And you can go for something like f captures on e3, and once the knight is captured, you recapture with the knight, and you get this position where the queen bishop battery is eyeing this diagonal, this bishop is eyeing this diagonal, knight is coming to g5, rook is coming to the e file supporting the passed pawn. It's going to get very, very difficult to hold for Ding in this position, and with the way Anish has been playing in this tournament, this is definitely not defendable. But okay, Anish misses it, and Anish goes for knight to e8, and Ding just recaptures his pawn. Knight captures on f4, and Anish goes for trades in the center, d captures, and Anish goes for bishop e5, opposing this bishop on this very strong diagonal, and Ding goes for queen to c2, knight to d6, and rook a d1, rook e8, and you can play a lot of moves in this position. You can go for something like knight to d5, and once the queen moves back, you can go for h4, cementing this pawn on the g5 square. But as Ding wants to win this game, he's definitely going to try to mix things up, and he goes for knight maneuver with knight to b1. But okay, Anish goes for e5, preparing a4, and Ding doesn't allow it, and Ding goes for a4 himself, and Anish trades bishop captures on b2, queen captures, and Anish goes for the very nice knight to e5, centralizing that knight on the central square, and Ding does the same. Ding goes for knight to c3. Now this knight is definitely jumping to d5 or g5 depending on the position, and there's not much you can do about this. So Anish just goes for bishop to g4, developing the bishop with the tempo, and rook to d5, and Anish just goes for knight to f5 in this position, and there are a lot of moves you can play in this position as well. You can go for something like knight to g5, and once the queen moves, and white plays something like queen to f2, you're not in time to capture the g5 pawn just yet, as there's knight to c7 fork, winning the exchange. So you can go for something like rook a d8, and once white plays something like h3, you can even sacrifice the bishop and go for queen captures on g5. And once the bishop is captured, you capture with the knight attacking the queen, and once the queen moves, you eliminate this pawn. You get this position where white is up a piece, but black definitely has compensation enough as black is up 3 pawns. But Ding doesn't go for it. Ding goes for rook back to d2, and Anish just takes advantage of this, and Anish goes for knight captures on d3. And now Ding goes for knight cd5, and Anish just trades, knight captures, and the queen goes back, queen to b8. Okay, h3, bishop to e6, and Ding goes for knight to f4, attacking the bishop, but this is definitely not a good move, and Anish shows how. Anish just captures the pawn on bishop captures on c4, and now if the bishop is accepted, you get this position where your queen and the rook are under attack, and once the queen moves, you capture the rook as well. Now once the queen captures, you get this position. White has 2 pieces for the rook, but it's definitely not going to be compensation enough. Once the queen comes to e5, now black's pieces are definitely intact, and white's 2 extra pieces are not doing much in the position. So okay, Anish wins a clean pawn, and Ding just accepts it, and Ding goes for rook f2 f2 as the rook was under attack, and Anish wants to keep this bishop on this diagonal. So Anish moves back, bishop to a6, and knight to h5. Now, as you might play some knight to f6 check, sacrificing the knight for some very nice attack in this position, but not really, as Anish just goes for rook to e7, rook to d5, and Anish plays queen to c7, rook to f5, and Anish just doubles up on the e5. Rook to e8, and there's not much footing in this position, and Ding just plays a waiting move with queen to c3, and Anish just plays a calm move in this position. Anish goes for d6. And Ding goes for a last attempt to win this game. Ding goes for knight to f6 check. But this just completely loses the game for him as Anish just boldly captures, G captures, and now Ding is completely in a losing position in this game. So pause the video and try to find this brilliant move for Anish, which wins the game on the spot for him, while I give you a couple of seconds. So congratulations for everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is actually knight to f3 check. And Ding just captures, rook captures, but now comes the main idea. Rook to even check, and Ding defends with bishop to f1, but Anish goes for a very calm and deadly king to h8 in this position. And it was in this position where Ding Liren, world number 2, resigned the game, and what a spectacular victory for Anish Giri. Anish has been playing stupendously in this tournament, and let's see how he does it in further rounds. So thank you all for watching. I'll be coming up with another amazing game from Tata Steels or from the chess world. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you all.